This is part 2 of my planning routine mini-series where I'm answering the question, how do I manage all these planners? Today we'll be doing the weekly planning routine. Hey everyone, my name is Veia and I'm here planning my own magic into my everyday life. If this is your first time joining me here on my channel, I like to share the different ways that I plan for that magical balance between fun and function. So if that sounds like something that is your vibe, I would love for you to consider subscribing. And to my current subbies, hey friends, thank you for coming back. In my last planner routine video, I went through all of the planners that I use to manage all of the different areas of my life as a multi-planner person. And I showed you how I do that on a monthly basis in each of those planners. And in today's video, I'm going to continue showing you how I do that, but this time on a weekly basis. I'll be sharing my weekly planning routine and which planners that I'm actually in on a weekly basis. If you did not catch my monthly planning routine video, make sure that you check it out. I'll put it in the description box, or you can tap the I above. But just as a quick little recap, I was just telling you how I use multiple planners to organize the different areas of my life. And I gave the comparison of being like the owner of a hotel. So that makes you the boss of all of the different managers that run all the different departments of your life. So that can include the CEO, the CFO, the food and beverage director, the child care center director, and so on and so forth. Whatever those areas are for your life, each planner is like an organization tool for each of those different people that are typically up here in our minds that run all the different areas of our life. And the planner stack for my monthly routine is a little bit larger than the planner stack for my weekly routine, because the less often I'm in all of those planners, the more planners there are. And the more often I'm in those planners, the less planners there are. So as we go through this mini series, you'll notice that my planner stack that I'm actually managing gets a little bit shorter. And essentially, once I plan in all of those planners monthly, some of them just drop off and become reference books for me. It doesn't mean that I don't look in them or use them anymore once I plan monthly. It just means I'm not writing in them and planning things out on a weekly or daily basis like the ones that I'm going to share with you today and in my next video. So really quick before we jump down on the desk, I have my organization tool as the CEO of the hotel that is my life. This is my catch-all planner. It's an Erin Condren Soft Down Life planner, and I have it in the Inspire colorway. And then the weekly layout is a vertical hourly. So that's the one that I use as my catch-all planner. I also have as the CFO of my life for finances, my budget A5 agenda. This is the Erin Condren A5 budget agenda, the ring agenda with the hardware inside. And I don't use this on a weekly basis. It actually toggles back and forth between a weekly planner and a reference book because I get paid bi-weekly, but it is going to be a part of the routine this week because I get paid this week. And then for the content creating area of my life, I like to use the Erin Condren Coiled Life Planner. This is the Wildflowers Coiled Life Planner, and I have it in the vertical weekly layout. So you'll get to see how I use this to plan content. And then typically I do not have this planner at home. I mentioned this in my last video, but for the sake of it being a weekly planning routine video, I did want to be able to show you how I use my teacher life planner for work. And I just have the Erin Condren Soft Mount Teacher Life Planner. And it is typically on my desk at work, like I said, and I won't be able to share with you exactly what things I've written in the past, but I wanted to bring it home so I can give you an example of how I use this planner for work as a middle school registrar. So as you can see, my weekly planner stack is much shorter than my monthly planner stack, but I do use it in the same way that I did my monthly planner stack. And basically it starts in my catch-all planner and everything kind of waterfalls over into the other areas except for work, that has a little bit less crossover. And as far as the actual routine portion of this goes, I do sit down with my planners once a week to make sure that I am planning ahead for my week. This is the time that I am using my printable sticker kits from Etsy. Because I print and cut them myself using my Cricut machine, I like to do that on like a Friday evening usually. That's when me and my son are home and we're a little more chill. We only have a few chores and we kind of do our own thing. So I'll come home and we'll fix dinner or have our takeout or whatever. And then when he goes and plays his video games or whatever, I come in my office and I print and cut my stickers for the upcoming week for my catch-all planner. And I do have a couple videos showing how I do that and listing the sticker shops that I like to use that I buy from all the time. So feel free to check those out. I'll make sure to link those as well. And typically I sit down to plan my week either Saturday or Sunday. It kind of just depends on what my weekend is looking like. 90% of the time it's a Sunday, but as long as I have my stickers print and cut already, and I also kind of do like a little office tidy up on Fridays when I'm printing and cutting those stickers so that my desk is all clean and set up for me to sit and do my actual planner routine when it's time. So whether that's Saturday or Sunday, it fluctuates, but either way, I like to make sure that my desk is ready. So we're gonna jump into that now. All right, so this is my catch-all planner. This is the one that we're starting in. Like I said, it's the Erin Condren Soft Down Life Planner. And I have the hourly weekly layout. And I also mentioned that I have the inspired colorway because that determines the colors that are up here and on some of the monthly spreads. So you'll see the color of the month there and here in the full weeks, and they're different. And I just like to use that to kind of inspire the kits that I use. However, this week's kit, it does have a little bit of the purple, but this is spring cleaning themed. This is by the Planner Shack. I buy from that shop all the time because it is Cricut machine friendly. That just means that it's easy for me to use my Cricut software. And so I like to use that shop a lot. So like I said, I have already printed and cut these. I do this typically on Friday, or I try to, so that everything is ready. So I am going to lay down my stickers. I'm not going to do that part on camera because I don't want that to take up a lot of the video. I do have other videos showing how I use these stickers in my planner and like what my mindset is behind using decorative stickers in my planner. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. One thing that I want to point out that's different from the monthly routine when it comes to my weekly routine is that the weekly routine, while it does have events just like I had in my monthly plans, events and appointments that are already scheduled do go on here. So that's, these types of functional stickers show the things that I already have planned. But then I also get to add into my weekly spread my goals that I'm trying to accomplish, habits that I'm trying to build. So, I often get asked the question, isn't having like multiple planners as well as like writing stuff in a monthly spread and then a weekly spread kind of redundant? And the answer is yes and no. Like I said in the last video, repetition is good because this is to help me remember what is going on. This is to help me function, and it's also designed to help me get closer to achieving my goals. So the weekly spread has a lot of stuff going on, and I don't know if you could tell by the stickers, but I didn't fill it in yet. But I basically have something down for wherever my list will go, my appointments, and my different to-dos that I have going on. I'm actually going to begin to fill them in, and this is where some of my reference planners come into play. So typically this is where I would refer to my monthly meal planner, the one that I filled out last time, but that was for March, and I haven't done April yet because I am in the middle of a meal bank reset for the seasonal switch. So I just looked at my inventory instead and pulled from there, and we have a ton of chicken, so I decided to make some barbecue baked chicken wings. And then I also have a recipe for the Greek roasted chicken thighs. So we're gonna have that, as well as some Chipotle chicken taco bowls. So I do write down the meals that I'm gonna have, and sometimes I cook them ahead of time and sometimes I cook them as I go, but I like to have them set up already. And typically that would be pulled from my meal planner that I plan monthly in my last video, like I was telling you. And then this to-do list is basically for things that I need to get done throughout the week. They don't have actual due dates, so I'm just going to assign them where I see empty space basically in my time. And then this little section is going to be for me to write down my content, because that is something that I am trying to make a regular habit, as well as, it's one of the goals I'm trying to achieve, which is to put out weekly videos. So I put stuff in my sidebar to distribute throughout the week, or make sure that I'm making time for it throughout the week. So this part of the planning routine is really what helps me to prepare my mind and body and soul, whatever I got to prepare to tackle the week ahead. This week is a particularly busy week compared to the past couple that I've been having, which is why I wanted to share this weekly planning routine, because I have several things going on. I'm prepping for a yard sale. I'm condensing some things in my house, and I have a couple of appointments to go to, and I need to get that stuff done around my typical cleaning routines, content routines, and being a mom to my son. So filling this in is going to help me to do that. However, I want planner newbies especially to know that just because you fill something into your planner, it doesn't mean that you have to plan out every second of every day. And it does not mean that if your plans do not go according to your planner, that you are failing at life or it's going to mess up everything else. It's just a plan. It's just something to help you feel more prepared in order to, get through your day-to-day routines and things. But it doesn't mean that, you failed at something if you put something in your planner that you don't get done. You heard me say I am trying to build habits. I am trying to attain my goals. I did not say I've been reaching every habit and hitting every goal that I've been setting. I'm still human. I'm still working on that. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I feel like I'm crushing it and sometimes I feel like I can barely think. So this is just meant to assist you in preparation. This is not meant to make you some robot. So keep that in mind as well. So just a quick peek now that I have filled it in. I already talked about my sidebar. I didn't fill in my content just yet because I still have the content plan, and I have my routines in the morning. I use this space to track my outfits. It's just been something that's been helping me stay on top of my laundry. And then I just wrote in things that I know. So I have a training at work on Monday. It's virtual, but it's at 1:30. I have an appointment with my mom. I have an oil change appointment, and those are the only set appointments I have and events. And then you get down here and you start to see my routine, or my goals. So going to the gym right after work, and then the chore of the day for Mondays is to do the floors, and I use my robot vacuum, so I set that up. And then the dots that are not filled in are for content, and I basically will end up tracking what that content ends up being rather than trying to pre-plan it too far ahead. And then on Wednesdays I like to film and edit and then reset my kitchen. And then on Thursdays I edit and I walk while my son is taking a nap before his basketball practice, because I am on practice duty on Thursdays. He goes to practice more in the week, but I drive him on Thursdays, so I rearrange those chores a little bit. And then Friday, I put to print and cut my stickers, like I said, and then tidy up my office and then work on laundry. And I typically watch a show or something to distract me from the hardest chore of my life, which is laundry. And then church on Saturday is filled in, but I like to leave my cleaning chores for the weekend open. I leave these checklists open because, as I said before, sometimes I interchange what I do. So sometimes I'll plan and do content on Saturday and then clean on Sundays, and sometimes I do it in reverse. And then I like to plan out the movie that my son and I watch on Sundays, because I have been making it a goal of mine to share the nostalgic movies of my childhood with my son. So we have a movie night pretty much every Sunday, and I like to plan out what we're going to watch, because when it's time to pick the movie, me and him just be getting into it, and I don't got time to be arguing with a 9-year-old. So anyway, this is what my weekly plans look like in my catch-all planner. So now that I have this planned out, now I can overlap everything else. So next I go into my content planner. Now I'm just loving the fact that Monday is the 1st. So this is the Erin Condren Vertical Life Planner. And as you can see, the difference is the vertical day is broken down into boxes instead of hours. And I like for this to be vertical because that's just kind of how my brain works when it comes to planning content. So what I typically will do is I will write down in the top box what is going on for the day. So I'm just going to do this in real time really quickly because I don't get as fancy in this planner. I don't decorate it or anything like that. I just use pens and highlighters and dot markers. So for this day, based on my weekly planner, I don't have anything going on outside of my regular schedule that would impact my content routine. So if I had something going on, like an appointment, I would put that here, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So for the day, there's nothing to do. This is where I bring in my dot markers. And in this section, I will typically work on whatever piece of my content that I can. So whether it be editing a reel or editing a video that I filmed over the weekend or whatnot, I will put it in this list. And then I have the last section, which will say content. And this is where I'll put my content of the day. So again, I will put a dot. And I actually like to use my erasable pen for this. And then I'll put down what I would like to post. So on this Monday, let's see, really putting myself out there, I would like to post my pantry restock video, or a reel, sorry. So I will put that here. So this means content that's going out. This is content I'm working on, and this is any plans that would impact my day. So for example, on Wednesday in the today box, I have several things going on. I have my mom's appointment. I also have an oil change, and I actually forgot that I have, oh, maybe that's why I put this flower here. I have an eye doctor appointment that I'm hoping to also get to after my oil change. So, oops, sorry about that. So this day is actually going to be pretty busy. So I'm not going to put my mom's appointment because that's kind of in the morning, but the stuff that starts to mess with my afternoon, which is when I would typically film, that's what I'm going to put here. And again, when you're talking about the redundancy and the repetition, this is actually good because what I didn't think about while I was planning in here, and now that I'm in my content planner, I just realized that I can probably edit a video while I'm sitting waiting on my oil change, or sitting in, the waiting room of my mom's appointment. So I would put a little edit thing here, and then I would fill in the box. And the reason that I like to use an erasable pen is because if this video were to not happen on this day, I can just go ahead and erase it and move it to the day that I can actually get it done. And yes, I do a lot of erasing. As I said, baby content creator here. And I know that was a really bare bones explanation, but I really wanted to share with you the ideology behind having a planner routine more so than the actual planning with me, because I think that's what's more important, is the routine of using multiple planners, not so much how to fill in your planner, because that really is going to be up to you. The other thing that I do, and I'm not going to do this on camera because it is about my finances, but the other thing that I do is I fill in my budget agenda. So because it's the beginning of the month and this is going to be the first pay day of the month, this is empty, but on a bi-weekly basis, I would come in and I would fill this in. And I like to just use a different color for each paycheck, and I write down the expenses that go along with that paycheck. So last month you saw me fill in my monthly calendar, if I can get to it. And so this is more like a running plan. And I did mention how I, fill in things that are happening in my real life that are impacted by finances or that will impact my finances. And when it comes to the weekly breakdown, I'm actually going in and pulling out here what I need to pay for that paycheck. And I had put on my to-do list to do my bills, because during this week, I typically will have an admin day where I will sit and go online and pay different bills, pay for, childcare expenses, do my grocery order and things like that. So that is why this is a part of my weekly routine, because I get paid on a bi-weekly basis. And I know it's hard to imagine since I'm doing it, since I'm showing you guys an empty page, but I hope you guys get what I'm saying. And this is an older view that I can show you, so you can just get an idea for what I mean by the two colors. I'll have my paycheck and then the expenses that I pay with that paycheck. I would end up doing the same thing on this page, except I would just probably use different colors and fill this in. And because I have an admin day, I typically don't put any bills in my catch-all planner, like, bill due or anything like that, unless it's a bill that doesn't let me pay it ahead, and it doesn't always fall on the same day, if that makes any sense. So other than that, I don't need to put that in my planner. And then that's what I meant by this being interchangeable as a weekly planner and a reference book like the other ones. Okay, and last but not least, we do have my work planner. So my work planner is actually a teacher life planner, and so it has the weekly setup like this. And I do tweak it a little bit. It wouldn't be me if I didn't tweak it. And I basically switch these things. I make these boxes my categories, and I make these boxes my days of the week. And I essentially track a few things. So I will track on the first box, I will put important. And I do have stickers for these. I just don't have them cut out right now. I have to make some more. And I also do enrollments, records, and withdrawals. So as a middle school registrar, my job is full of different tasks, but these are the main things that I like to track. So for example, this would say Monday the 1st instead. Y'all know my handwriting is terrible. I talk about that all the time. So these would be the days of the week. I just want to be able to give you an example. So ignore this. On Monday, anything important would be like staff development day, because it is a staff development day, and we won't have students on campus that day. So I'll put no school. But no school for me usually still means work. Then I put directives. So these are directives that I've either gotten from my supervisor or my department, because I kind of have dual supervision in my role. So For the directives, I have a project that one of my admin gave me that I want to work on, or that I will be working on. And so I just would put the initials of that admin. And then I also would put that at 1:30, I have a build your skills training. For enrollments, there will probably be none. For withdrawals, there will probably be none because there are no students. However, if I want to request and or send records, I would write down who I sent records for, or who I requested records for. And then Tuesday, when we do have students, these boxes will look a little different because I would have enrollments. And the reason that I can't show the past weeks is because I will write down my students' first and last name, what grade they're in, and because they're on Tuesday, that means they started on Tuesday. And then if I need to request records for that student, I will put it here. And if I would draw any students for that day, I will put them down here. And that is how I track throughout my week. I will have clips of a nicer version of that in the video for you because I know that this is ugly, but I just needed you guys to understand, number one, why I don't bring this home. There's no reason for me to have this at my house other than pre-planning, and I really can't pre-plan these exact things. Sometimes I pre-plan the month, but even in the monthly, I don't really have a need to put much crossover except for days that I am going to be out. Which is something that I can put if I'm going to be out. So Wednesday, I have all those appointments. So I know that I'm taking a half day. And that will just remind me to put in my absence request. But other than that, there's really nothing for me to use this planner for outside of my work desk. So the main planners are my catch-all, my content, and my budget planner. So I'm curious to know, now that you guys have seen a couple versions of my multi-planner stack routine, is it making a little more sense? Let me know in the comments down below what you think. In the next video, I will be sharing my daily routine, which only has 2 planners that I check into daily. So it's a lot less of a stack, but I'll be sharing how I do that in my next video. So make sure you stay tuned. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.